Hi everybody, welcome back to Tnooz Live at GBTA, presented by BCD Travel. I'm Martin Cowan, Editorial Director for Tnooz. I'm here with Dr. Sascha Meskendahl, who's the Chief Revenue Officer for Blacklane, fairly well-known operator in ground transportation business, chauffeur-driven, I understand. So, Sascha, you've had a busy couple of days here, a couple of announcements that I'd like to talk to you about, but just tell me, what it is that you've announced here at GBTA.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to talk about what we announced here. So we had like two major announcements.
Okay.
The one was since 2 days we officially announced or officially launched our Blacklane Pass service. Pass stands for Premium Airport Services and Solutions, and it's an airport concierge service. So makes you as efficient as possible to get through the airport. And the second biggest announcement that we have is our new green class that we soft launched before, and it's also live since last week, where we have a fleet of electrical vehicles currently in 20 cities in 13 countries around the world, and are rolling this out further.
Okay, so let's look at Pass, Premium Airport Services. I mean, so that's from getting off the plane through security. I mean, what was the driver behind that? The driver.
Yeah.
So I mean,
we prefer to say chauffeur.
The chauffeur. So what was? So I mean, was that did you see a big demand from premium clients for that, or is it sort of wider
Actually,
than that?
it was a bit the other way around. So we had like the feedback that we got, and what we have, like you can have a great business class, first class flight to your destination. You have a great Blacklane ride from the airport to your hotel to your home. But actually, where you're left alone is at the airport, and the airport is a big pain point. And we were looking at like the whole customer journey, and our mission is to offer a seamless door-to-door experience. So that's what we are targeting for. And then we figured out like the airport is one of the biggest pain points. How can we actually solve that you don't lose that kind of premium experience that you have from your flight and your Blacklane ride? And then we're looking into that, how we can offer this kind of service. We were doing a pilot last year, gave it for free to some of our customers, and then collected the feedback. And the feedback was so great that we said, like, let's productize it. We worked at that time with a company called Solve from the US that was offering it at some airports, and then they stopped their business. And then we reached out to them, and it's like, oh, we have a lot of demand for that, and why did you stop the business? And then the feedback was, it's very tough, it's challenging customers, it's a lot of local, maybe unreliable suppliers, it's too much work for us. And we figured out, so like, too much work, like high demand customers, a lot of suppliers around. It's exactly what we at Blacklane do, and what we have done with the chauffeur service. Having a fragmented market, not easy to book, very high price, and actually made this service available around the world and easy to book and brought down heavily the prices. And this is now what we do with Pass, doing the same. So we now offer that service for $100 per service. So this is the arrival service, what you described earlier. It's also the departure service. So you arrive with a Blacklane ride, you would be picked up curbside, helping with check-in, helping with security, passing security lines. You still need to go through security, of course, but then either putting you directly into a lounge that you can also book with us, or bringing you directly to the gate and placing you directly into the.
So you've had to work closely with airport providers in order to do this?
Yes, so there are actually providers at each airport, but it's like a fragmented market, so you don't know what the provider is, and it's typically high cost. If you take Moscow, that kind of service costs you $800. Or used to cost you $800. Now with Blacklane, it costs you $100. The reason is it's so. It's such expensive service that it used to be a niche, and that only C-suite would actually book this and would be willing to pay for that. And then you only have a couple of people using it per week, and then you have high costs because with the typical model with the airport is you have to buy one license, and if you do it for one person to 2 or 20, it's the same price. And this is why we do the same approach what we do with the chauffeur service, like bringing in more customers, helping these high quality providers that we have around the world at the airports, better utilizing their capacities, and then bring down the price and make this service available to all business travelers or to all travelers out there. So time is not only valuable for C-level executive. I think it's valuable for everyone, and it's affordable and can save you 2-3 hours.
Okay, so like economies of scale, basically, on a very simple level. Okay, so let's move on to the green initiative. So you say that's electric vehicles in 20 cities. Again, what was the thinking behind launching this? Was this something that Blacklane brought to the market and said this is something you should be looking at, or was it more the market came to Blacklane and said we want this? I'm just wondering where the impetus for this initiative came from.
I mean, what we are really proud of, actually, it came within the organization. So we have internally founded by employees of Blacklane something what we call Blacklane Cares. So it started with offering our service and making our service more accessible for people with disabilities, but also it was like, how can we be responsible to the environment? So this is then where this green initiative started within the company, really from employees within Blacklane, not by the CEO, not by me, not actually by customers asking for that, but it's like, how can we make that a better place, and how can we contribute to that as Blacklane? And since last year, we are carbon neutral, so that was the first starting point, is like we are offsetting the entire carbon emission of our fleet globally with an official institute. We are certified for that. It's based on the actual fuel consumption of the fleet, not of any theoretical values from car manufacturers. So we are carbon neutral since last year with all our rides. We are since this year actually carbon neutral with all our operations. So we are also offsetting our traveling coming here to GBTA, but also with our office and everything that we have there. And then the next logical step was actually like, how do we further develop that and we don't emit anything in terms of carbon, but also like other kinds of things that you emit with combustion engine. And this is why we then said, like, let's go the next step and launch a service which is the electrical fleet. We do it currently with Tesla Model X and Tesla Model S. It comes with all the same service levels that Blacklane offers, like free waiting time, international English-speaking driver, with all the technology and all this pickup service at the airport that we offer across all our services already before. And we want to roll it out further. The limitation there is a bit the cars. And you need to have cars that you can use for chauffeur service, right?
Okay, so you're live in 20 cities. I mean, are they sort of mainly North America, or where are they spread?
No, it's in 13 countries. It's all around the world. So it's North America, it's Europe, it's in the Asia-Pacific region. So we picked several markets from small to big. So in the US is, for example, one Austin, but we also have London, we do Paris, we do Munich, and then Sydney, for example. And we want to start it with offering it as broad as possible, because our guests are traveling internationally, and we want to make the service as soon as possible available on a global level, and also get the feedback on a global level. And of course, also affected is where you can offer that kind of service. Where do you have the cars in the market, and where can you convince the partners in the market also to invest into the vehicles, and where there also you have the legislation that allows for that. So it's not all cars are allowed all around the world, so there's some limitations to that.
Okay, so I mean, is that green initiative? You said you sort of just announced it, and you soft launched it earlier. I mean, is it live now?
It is live now. Okay. It is live. Go to blacklane.com and then you can book it. It's available. So it's with our 3 service classes we had before: business class, a business van, and first class. And there's a 4th class now, which is our green class. Okay,
and just in terms of the conversations you've had at GBTA, I mean, what's been the response to green and pass?
So the feedback overall is very, very good for both of that. I think we even got, let's say, from the media, we got more attention on the green initiative. Yeah. So if we look at coverage, who published it, it was like green was more published. From the feedback on the ground, even a bit more, I would say, on the pass service. They're like, okay, it's a really pain point for us. I can envision a lot of people for us using that. If we can save them time, make travel for them easier, that's a good thing, and we'd love to test it. So I would say it's a mixed.
Okay. So with Pass and Green, I mean, what else is on your radar in terms of sort of new to market initiatives?
So we of course strengthen what we have. I mean, with Pass, we are already available at 500 airports. It's the Pass service, which is also the lounge access. With the green class, as I said earlier, it's 20 cities. We want to roll that out further, but also like our, let's say standard product. I mean, we want to be, or will be available in then more than 300 cities at the end of the year. So we want to increase our coverage and make it as easy as possible for customers to book it, to travel really seamless. And we strongly believe that service level is something to add to that. I mean, we are quite often invited to the future of mobility and what happens to Blacklane if you have self-driving vehicles. And now with the pass direction we are going, that question is like becoming less. And it's like, okay, yeah, understood, you're offering a service level. I mean, the car can be self-driven. Still, you need to have someone helping you with getting into the car, getting through the airport, helping you maybe at home. And people still appreciate the service that a person can give you. So that if we look at our customer feedback, the best customer feedback we get is for our chauffeur. So it's like, it was a great chauffeur. He came in, he helped us to get through the airport, although the doors were closed, or I forgot my wallet, and he came back giving me the wallet. So I mean, it's like the chauffeurs, which we consider part of the Blacklane family, part of the Blacklane crew, they make really a difference there. So
I mean, despite the advances in sort of automotive technology, it's still that personal service that you offer.
And the car can be self-driven, right? I mean, for us, I mean, we have customers that want to be driven, so that's not a problem for us. If there's someone in the car or not, I think still people want to decide. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't trust that technology, right? And when we could envision that there's rather you select, do I want to have a driver in there, do I don't want to have a driver in there? But still you need physically help with getting into the car, helping with your luggage, getting through the airport. So I think it will get, for us, more going into this service direction. What else of customer pain points can we solve? Also with our pass service. Now we have like getting as efficient as possible through the airport. That's what we had in the soft launch phase. Since last week, like we are officially live, but also added the lounge access to that. But there might be different opportunities at the airport as well, where we can make life easier for travelers and add this kind of services to our chauffeur product and also to our pass product.
Well, I mean, the airport experience is a pain point for many travelers, and I think this pass thing for the C-suite. But what you're saying is that by the economies of scale, it's not just the C-suite; it's the B-suite, if such a thing exists. So, okay.
No, well, as our director of pass says, like nobody enjoys being at the airport except for kids taking pictures of planes, right?
Yeah.
And we want to make that experience much better, that you can also as a traveler make best out of your time. If you want to spend time at the airport, that's fine, right? But if you want to work at the airport, use that time. We want to give you that ability and not waiting in lines where you don't create any value, and it's then up to the traveler to decide whether he wants to relax or if he wants to work. And I think also companies understand that you can. It's big. I think it's a great tool for retaining talents, making their lives easier when you're traveling. So I used to be a consultant, need to travel all the time. If you can make life easier for travelers, they're more likely staying with your company and not getting tired of traveling. And then still, if you work one more hour, you can create more value to the company, and companies are willing to pay.
But it's interesting as well. One of the themes from GBTA is this whole idea of wellness and this whole idea of like being able to relax at the airport on your layover, or being able to work, having that choice, and then that sort of looping back to sort of retention because the travel experience is better. I mean, it's all starting to come together with sort of Blacklane fairly central to that. So great. Dr. Sascha Meskendahl, thanks very much for taking the time to join us. This is Martin Cowan. This is Tnooz Live at GBTA, presented by BCD Travel. Thank you very much.